Hello, everybody. Welcome to the In for the Win channel. I'm Sinister, and this is episode 34 of our Dyson Sphere program Let's Play. Today, we're going to talk about antimatter fuel rods and artificial stars, more power generation. Um, as I progress through the game, I'm starting to produce more and more energy. I'm up to 3 gigawatts coming out of our sphere. Right now, I'm not actually producing any nodes. I need to borrow the chips for a minute. So, anyways, this is growing pretty good. A lot of it's actually coming from the sales because I just pumped out, or I realized I had a lot more sales than I was using. So now I've just increased the amount by a lot. So for now, it's making do. But when we look at our power, I'm still not way up there. So when you go and look at your talent tree, is the artificial star that we haven't actually done anything with. We needed to use more chips, which were expensive, and we needed constraint spheres. So in the end, it wasn't super. Wait, was I looking at? Oh, we need chips for the actual stars. So I definitely didn't include that into the strip mall right off the bat. I mean, it's there, but it's not producing until I start getting more quantum chips. So what I've done is I've manually crafted a few, and that's actually what I've been setting aside quantum chips for, to produce a few more. But so basically, I realized all of a sudden when I had an abundance of the photons. I'm producing way more now, and because that is because if we look at our Dyson spheres, um, so it looks like we're finally producing more energy than we're calling for. So I've got these 8 ray receivers set up to photon generation. So now I think I'm finally understanding what this is all talking about. So now that this is at 100%, what it's saying is that it's taking 240 megawatts per ray receiver. Maybe I'm wrong there. That seems odd, actually. Yeah, because then I would be way off. But anyways, what it's doing is it's using this collected power that it's continued to receive, and it's taking these graviton lenses and it's outputting photons. So initially I was getting like 2.7 or whatever, and now I'm getting 12 per minute. So I'm getting 48, I'm getting 96 per minute of photons, which is lots. So now I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe I should put them to use making antimatter fuel rods, right? You're going to need the photons when you break them down. They are going to make 2 and 2, or it's an even ratio basically, 1 to 1. So, but the thing was, we needed to make anti-annihilation constraint spheres, and I needed more particle containers. So in my off time, I have increased production of particle containers, and I brought over some aluminum alloy. So in a second here, we're going to get to building that. But the other thing I just wanted to point out too was I set these other receivers up here. So this one now is straight up generating 8 megawatts just based on the sphere. It's not using any graviton lenses, and it's not even been set up for that long. So from my understanding is eventually here this will get up and it'll produce a higher amount. I also wanted to test out, we left it under power generation, but we threw in graviton lens and look at the power difference there. So between 8 and 18 from using 0.25 a minute. So this is again something I'm starting to realize, is that I need to actually start harvesting the energy from the sun, because right now I don't think I'm making very good use of it. So in later episodes I'll be playing around more with that, but for now we're just going to jump on over to here. So what I did was I was just sneaky, and I basically grabbed in all the supplies I needed and just dropped them off here to produce more photons. So eventually I can spread them out everywhere. So I've got my photon line set up right there. But when we look at what we're actually going to need, is the first thing we need to do is to actually split the photons. So I've already got the particle collider set up. So basically all I did was I brought over those photons and you feed them directly in. And in my case, I outputted the hydrogen on this side and the antimatter on that side. Pretty straightforward. So what I was initially doing was I was just setting this to burn off. I was just getting rid of the hydrogen and saving all the antimatter, because the antimatter is used in the white cube creation. That was where I needed it initially for. So I had this set up for a while, but now that I have an abundance of it and I've got, you know, tons of photons, I modified the layout a little bit. So this is feeding it out, and then I've got it prioritized to where I want it to go, and all the extra hydrogen is going to go back to get burned off or stored, whatever I want to do with it. I haven't decided. And I've also just got this little belt feeding. I mean, for this build, it's only calling for 60 antimatter a minute, and if I take those out. So I think it's times 2 though. I think I am producing, because it takes 2 to give you 2. So yeah, so that's 60 per minute. So it's a perfect ratio of what we're going to build. Because basically what we're going to make is we're going to make 10 antimatter fuel rods per minute. So we need those to go with the oh no, actually we have to build the constraint spheres first. So the constraint spheres, my plan was set them up over here. So I brought in aluminum alloy from elsewhere, and then so constraint spheres are going to require the particle containers. Sorry, no, there's no alloy in the constraint spheres. The constraint spheres are just particle containers and processors. So I brought them in from elsewhere, and basically, how many do I need? I need 1.7 Mark II assemblers to do this. So basically, we will set this up. Doesn't matter where really. We're going to set it up there, and then we're going to go. What is it, a 1-to-1 ratio? I always like to match up the sorter speeds. You don't have to. Yeah, it's a 1-to-1. So that means we'll just use yellow and then a green. That's 1-to-1. And then that's going to be our constraint spheres. And now we're going to make sure we output it. As you can see, there's already a belt here. I was testing this out earlier. So basically, we're going to go 1. We're going to go 2. That's going to produce more than we need, which is technically only 5 per minute. It's not very much. So there's 2 of our constraint spheres being built, and they're being output onto this belt here. And then we're going to, now we're going to construct our fuel rods, because we've got it all now. So we've got our, I could probably modify the layout a little bit actually, but we're going to put our fuel, we got our antimatter and our hydrogen, whatever, antimatter, hydrogen right there. So we're going to go 5, I like to erase it, click on one first. So we need, what do we need? I think we need lots of the 12 and 12. So I'm just going to go like this, like that, max speed, and then we want to bring in our aluminum. Let's just do, boom, our alloy, and then, yeah, let's just put it over here. And so we technically want 2 full of these. So these will produce at 5 a minute, 2.5 a minute, but the recipe produces 2 at a time. So basically, now we're getting, do I have to output it? Oh yeah, I still have to output it. Way over yonder. Right there. So now we're pumping out our, what are they, antimatter fuel cells? Is that what they're calling them? What are they calling them? Yeah, fuel rod. So basically, once this is done, they're going to pump out. I've got a huge backup plan for this, just so it can go in. So let's get it out as wide as we can, basically. And then so now, this is where I'm saving. I'm actually gonna stop right now. So I'll go way over here to where, there's my chips. So I was just being cheeky. I went like this, Alright, just stuck in a chest here and stole everything off the belts. So, oh, I got lots. Mercy. I got 800. So basically now you can produce or handcraft a few of them, right? You've got some, where are we going? Look at that sphere. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty fancy. So there we go. So basically you could come over here and you could snag 10 of these. There, I got 41. So basically now we could produce 1, 2, 3. Oh, I need more frames, whatever. So produce enough stars. So now I did a little bit of calculations. I couldn't seem to find a direct rate at how quickly these artificial suns absorb. I want to say it's somewhere between like 2 minutes and 2.5 minutes depending on power usage, right? Because the power load for me isn't like full. So when we go and we put an input, it's one of those ones that looks like you should be able to feed it in. So it's going at 100% conversion rate. So I did a little timer and it was like 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So in my mind, it's consuming like one every 4 minutes or something. Wait, because if it takes 2 minutes to consume one, it's using 1 rod every 2 minutes, so half a rod. So if we put out 2 suns, it's like 1 rod a minute. So we got lots of opportunity. So actually, if we look at this, like it's pumping out a lot of energy, 72 megawatts, just like that. So I mean, it is super worth it. At first I didn't think it was like, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna set it up. Lots of and I was, I was humming and hawing, and now it's like, okay, this is pretty sweet. Oh wait, I don't have this right, do I? Well, I don't want to overtake. I want to, because technically I am gonna need these. Eventually it'll be full and it'll produce very slowly, I'm pretty sure. So let's put another one out here. Too close. Okay, there's another one. And where can I get one here? So I can get one there. Give it extra space. So just by producing those, so if I've got, these are taking every 2 minutes, I'm going through 3 of those, and I'm producing 10 a minute. So I got way more than I need, and just from that, I'm almost up to 800 megawatts. So in my mind, these are totally worth to build. And like, I could just imagine for a quick setup on another planet, if you had an ample supply of these fuel cells, fuel rods, you could just go over there, plop them down, and start building. Like, it's gonna take some time to play around, but I mean, as far as I can tell, that's working. Everything's working in their own due time. And then we're storing up extra, what are they called? Particle containers. One day I'll be getting unipolar magnets, but not right now. And we're getting pretty close to clearing through. Well, not clearing through. We're getting to those infinite ones on our. That's probably the max now that I see it. I should probably get that one. But we're pretty much almost done the tech tree. That requires other colors. I'll do that one after. And then bam, we're going to be producing nothing but white. Well, we're going to modify that. We're going to have to produce lots more to produce more white. So anyways, I think that's it for now. We've set up our antimatter fuel rods and our artificial suns, and they're tossing out energy. So we'll be back in next episode with another, hopefully more interesting topic. Well, I thought this was pretty interesting. So thanks everybody for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful coming summer or winter, depending on where you live. I don't know how the seasons really work. Who am I kidding? Take it easy, everybody. Sinister's out of here.